You represent business interests, business here at the COP17 in Durban. And what's in it for business? Why are you involved, or why are you here observing the climate change discussions?
Well, first let me just say a word about the ICC. The International Chamber of Commerce is a very old organization. We were created in 1919, and we have thousands of members from all over the world, and we are represented through regional networks in over 90 countries. So, we represent a very, very broad range of business interests. And the reason why we are here is, as we have been present in the past meetings on climate change, is because there are two things. First of all, the decisions that are going to be made by the delegates, by the United Nations process, will affect necessarily, the way we do business in the future. So we have a very keen interest to understand, what is planned. The other thing is that we are what we call a solution provider. We are known for owning most of the technologies. We have financial resources, we have project management expertise, and this can be applied to the future solutions that will help combat climate change. And the other thing, the last point I'd make, is that there is a lot of consciousness in the business community about the need to fight climate change and to reduce our own emissions. So this is another thing that we're doing, is that we're cleaning our own houses, so to speak, and making sure that in our own businesses we reduce everything that can be reduced. So there are several interests for us.
Is there a reciprocal understanding on the side of the negotiators, of the NGOs, that they can and should be working with the business community, or are you often seen as the bad guys?
Well, let me say that it's improving. It's improving because I think that more and more governments themselves are calling for a broader consultation on the policy making side of things. They realize, of course, that they need the business to implement solutions and to implement action. The NGOs as well, because they understand that this is where there is a lot of expertise in managing projects and making things happening on the ground. And so I think that the perception is changing a little bit. Of course, there are a lot of actors who call us the bad guys. We know, we are well aware of that. We of course make all the efforts wherever it's necessary to do our own things right. But it's improving, I would say. It's not perfect because we feel that we are not engaged to a sufficient extent in the process in terms of consultation. But definitely it's improving.
And of course there are opportunities for businesses in the in renewable energy, for instance. Again, is that a wide perception?
No, absolutely. And I think it's a perception that is very well anchored into the business community, at least what we would call the leaders, the leading business. They are convinced of several things. First of all, that you can achieve significant emissions reductions through doing things in your own energy systems, like energy efficiency or switching, between a variety of fuels, choosing your portfolio, your mix, your energy mix. So there are a lot of things, and it is now very well understood that it creates an enormous opportunity for businesses who will be the leaders in that area. The cleaner you are, the greener you are, the more recognized you are by your own customers, the civil society you work with. So there is a competitive edge there that has been very well understood.
And you're here at COP17, as you mentioned, as observers rather than as participants in the negotiations. Is there a place for the ICC, for instance, on the negotiating table?
No, and we don't want to. That's not our mandate. We are not negotiators. The negotiation is for government and delegates from the governmental parties. So we are certainly not seeking that role. What we are requesting is maybe a closer interaction with the process, maybe to be consulted on a more frequent and deeper basis on issues where we have an added value. And we think we have added value on anything that touches the technology mechanism, for instance, on the Green Climate Fund, for instance, on all mechanisms for verifying emissions, where we are very well used in the business community to account for, to verify, to measure. So all those areas we wish that we were more associated with the elaboration of the policies and the measures.